1997, over here, thinking back to 1997 and 1998, could you ever have envisioned yourself back here after this career you've had leading this program?
You know, I hoped. My dream was to come back here and be the head coach. That was my dream, you know. When you work for a guy like Nick Saban and you see him do it, you know, you can't help but to aspire to be able to be in that position one day and do that. So this is certainly a dream come true for me. To be back here, the time has gone very fast. It seems like just yesterday that I was here, $400 a month as a GA sleeping under my desk. I tried to always make sure that when Nick Saban walked past the GA office, I was there, you know, coming and going. You could hear him, he was shaking that change in his pocket, coming down the hall. You knew Coach Saban was coming down the deal, and I was right there at attention. So, yeah, it's special, you know. And I don't take it lightly. I cherish this opportunity. Thank you for that question.
Coach, over here. Okay. Coach, this fall, what should fans expect to see on the field? What is Coach Tucker's style?
Yeah, first we'll be best conditioned. And that's the foundation of our program. Our program is built in the weight room. We'll play with great technique and fundamentals. We'll play smart. We won't beat ourselves. That's the goal. We'll play fast. Both sides of the ball on special teams. Players play fastest when they know what they're doing. And last but not least, you know, we'll play physical football. You know, it's you know, that's really the name of the game. And that's what, you know, that's what Michigan State football has always been about. Hard-nosed physical football.
Mel, Mel right here, guy with the same haircut.
I used to have hair.
Can you take us through the timeline from when Michigan State first reached out to you to, you know, finally agreeing, I'm going to do this, and just kind of take us through some of the details along the way?
I'll do my best. It's been a little bit of a blur. But late last week, Michigan State showed interest, and I had interest as well. Strong interest, very strong interest. And throughout the process, you know, I decided that it was time for me to take a step back from the process. Obviously, there were other great candidates, and the search continued. It circled back to me. I want to say it was probably on maybe Monday morning about that with my representation. And, you know, ultimately, sometime late last night, it was apparent to me that I needed to be here. And that's kind of how it went down. Yeah.
Mel, over here. Obviously, as you said, it's been a blur the last few days or the last week. Can you describe what you were wrestling with when you first seemed to commit back to Colorado and then came back to Michigan State? What changed there, and what were you wrestling with during that time?
Yeah, you know, everything, you know, has a process, and I'm very deliberate about, you know, how I go about my business and how I evaluate things, you know, professionally and personally. And leaving Colorado was actually the toughest thing that I've ever done in my career, in my life, actually. And so but this is the right time for me to be here. You know, that's really what it comes down to. You know, the commitment is here. The resources are here. The want to. The leadership is here. You know, everything is here. Everything we need is here right now to get done what we need to get done. And so, although we all have to make tough decisions at times, this was certainly one of them. It was the right decision. And there's no doubt in my mind about that.
Right here in the middle, Coach.
Okay.
Anybody that watched you play knew you loved the game physically, but you love it as a student of it. I'm curious, this is the school that broke the color barrier. What does it mean to come back here and lead that program that 60 years ago changed college football?
It's an honor and it's a privilege, quite frankly. And I feel extremely blessed to have this opportunity. And we're going to make the most of it. You know, we're going to give it everything we have every day. I owe it to myself, I owe it to my family, the players, you know, all of us in the room here, and all of the great people that have come here before us. You know, great players in the past and great coaches. This is a program that has a rich and storied history and tradition of excellence, diversity, and there's very few places like this in America.
Antoine mentioned the team meeting earlier and how intense that was. I was wondering what your message was to the guys that are here already, and how quickly would you like to get the staffing figured out so you can start moving forward? Yeah,
the message, you know, kind of in a nutshell, is that we're all in this thing together. You know, I have your back, you know, and we're going to support you, myself and my staff, and it's not going to be easy. You know, we're going to work really hard. We're going to have a culture of accountability, sense of urgency, attention to detail, unselfishness, you know, relentless attitude, competition, and it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. And we're going to do it, and we're going to do it together. You know, every single person, every single player is important in our program. You know, everyone's got a clean slate at this point with me, and we're going to move forward from this point, you know, as a football team. And these guys, we need to graduate. We need to graduate our players. And we spent a significant amount of time talking about that. You know, first and foremost, you're here to get an education, you're here to get a degree, and we want to help you launch your career after football. And you know, obviously, my job is to help you get your first job. You know, whether it's the National Football League, more often than that, it's in the real world, and this is a great place to launch that career. So those were some of the things that we touched upon. Thank you for that question.
Mel, Jim Comparoni, SpartanMag.com. What are your impressions of the way Michigan State has grown since you were here on the inside in 1998? I was interested in your observations since you've come back and looked around a little bit. Yeah, I haven't got the entire tour. It certainly looks different than it looked in 1997, 1998. It's very impressive to me.
When I walked in, when we walked in today, I felt something different. I felt something special. I felt there was an energy, there was a vibe, there was a great, it was a positive environment that's conducive to reaching your full potential. And I think environment and expectations are the two main factors in becoming successful. And the environment here is tremendous with the support. Everyone is supporting one another, and the expectations, like we talked about earlier, have always been high, okay? And they continue to be that. And so this is truly one of the great coaching opportunities in football.
No, right here in the middle. Obviously, the timing was unique on both sides of this. I'm curious, first, what are your next steps in the next week or two, and are there any challenges of taking a job like this at this time? Again, just with the time.
Well, we have to put together a staff, and I told the players I can't guarantee that I'm going to bring in every guru or some football genius, X and O guy. We want to bring in, first and foremost, coaches with tremendous character, that are great role models for our players, family guys that care about young men, and that are going to treat our young men as their own children, their own family. And so that's a big part of what we'll be doing in the next few days. And I can assure you there's no shortage of great coaches out there who want to be here with me and with these young men. And so, and then, we're getting ready for spring ball. So there's a strength and conditioning aspect of it, and a program of running and lifting and preparing ourselves so we can compete in spring ball. And then, I've got to get to know my peers. I've got to get to know my players, coaches, everyone in our university community here, and I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, I embrace that opportunity. The challenges that we have, like you said, at this point in the year, are we're built for that, and we'll get it done. It won't take long.
We have two more, Matt and then Chris.
And Mel in the middle here. I've obviously only been here for a few hours, and you said this process has been a blur. Is it pretty much starting over from scratch with the team, as far as what your knowledge of the roster is and the players and kind of the identity of what Michigan State football has been recently?
I have some work to do in terms of learning our roster, and that's part of what you do in an out of season, scheme evaluation, player evaluation, just finding out what we need to do to get better. And so, it's listen, we want to hit the ground running. This is time is of the essence. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to be efficient. We're going to be effective in everything that we do. We're going to recruit. We're going to identify the players that we feel like can help us. Okay? And then we're going to target them. We're going to recruit them with the intent of signing those guys. And so everything that has to be done in a football program, quite frankly, has already started, for me. And so it's, we sleep fast. We'll be sleeping fast and getting after it. We're going to make the most of every opportunity we have.
Last one, Chris.
Mel, kind of wanted to know, from you obviously worked directly under Mark Dantonio previously, both here when you were a GA, when you were at Ohio State. How much Mark Dantonio is there in you and your coaching philosophies? How many things are different? And do you have any plans or decisions to make with his assistants that you're still on staff?
Yeah, I was here 1997, 98 as a graduate assistant. Coach Dantonio was the secondary coach. And I left LSU with Nick Saban to work alongside Coach Dantonio at Ohio State for Jim Tressel. And I worked with him for 3 years there. And obviously, he's one of those great mentors that I've learned a lot from. And he's helped shape, some of my football philosophies and things like that. And so I've always considered him a friend and a tremendous, tremendous football coach and an outstanding person. And so I'm looking forward to reconnecting with him.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Any final words?
Go Green! All right.